All right, a little on the spot, but sure. I'm Eric. I'm an alcoholic. All right. Let's see where to start. I was born and raised in New York, and moved to New Jersey when I was a little bit younger, like 11, 12. So the change was quite different for me. It was actually pretty different. So I was naturally uncomfortable and nervous person. So by the time I was like, high school, I started drinking. So it immediately became a problem for me. I couldn't control how much I drank from the beginning of when I started drinking. Excuse me, I'm a little nervous. I haven't talked for a while. Um, so,
That's okay. Everybody in the meeting is either drunk or hungover. It won't matter. No, I'm just kidding. That's not true, but go ahead.
no worries. Yeah, so I always had an unnatural relationship with alcohol from the beginning. I started drinking, in order to make myself feel comfortable from the very start. I was expelled from high school I'd say my late freshman year just for drinking and violence because, it went hand in hand for me. So, um, by the time I got out of high school, I was already in prison due to an alcohol and partying related incident that put me in a situation that always happens with alcohol and drugs. And from there it escalated, the drinking, the alcohol, I mean the drinking and drugs, and eventually it got to a point where I was doing other heavy drugs every day just to maintain and drink. And by the time I was, I guess 28, I was, had been losing jobs, relationships. My family did not want to have anything to do with me. I wasn't functioning like a human being at all. I was dependent on multiple substances daily in order to just get by. And if I didn't have them, I would be ended up in the hospital because, like, the violent withdrawals and all of that. So I started doing the rounds and detoxes and rehabs by 27. Actually, it was a little bit earlier than that, but by 28, 29, I really tried to get sober and put, my first attempt into AA. And, it lasted about 6 months, never really got involved in any groups, kind of, said, AA is one part of my life, and then I have my other part of my life over here. So I lasted about 6 months, did a little bit of the step work, but really didn't put my all into it. By the time I was like 30, 31, after that last relapse where I felt like I was going insane like all the time, I started going to psychiatrist and trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And excuse me, I kind of
Hey, Eric, excuse me really quick.
I
1 minute
couldn't,
left.
yep, I couldn't really figure out what it was. And what I found out it was just that I didn't have a higher power in my life. And when I went back to the group and got involved like 100% and really went through the steps and started doing like uh, work in the group and helping other people, and I gained an understanding of a higher power. And through doing that and working with others, like my whole life changed. I went from being homeless and living in people's couches and living with no sort of life to now having like a wife, a family, everything that's given back to me, but most of all, my sanity. So, with that, I'll pass. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Eric. That was excellent. Yay. You can applaud. All right. So let's see. Let's go to Aaron. Aaron, I'm going to time you. Could you tell your story in 5 minutes today?
Sure.
Surprise, surprise. Okay. And
Um,
I'll
so
time you. I got you right here.
okay, so I grew up as an only child. My parents were both teachers and they were both alcoholics, but very functional alcoholics. When I was 13, went into my parents' liquor cabinet and took a little bit from each of the bottles into a jar, and me and my girlfriends drank the whole thing, and it was mixed with all different kinds of alcohol. And I blacked out and threw up. That was my first experience with drinking. drank on the weekends in high school. And fast forward to, and then in college, drank. And then I was run over by a bus actually when I was 26 and lost my job, almost lost my life. Some girl pushed me in front of a bus. And after that, drinking was really, really on. And met my husband, um, ended up getting sober for the birth of my kids, and then went back to drinking again and daily drinker. Um, and got to be a real dark place, went to rehab, got sober, got out of rehab, um, and had quite I was very active in AA, had 8 years sober, and then got sick, found out that I had something wrong with my liver, and I had to have treatments for my liver, and then got really depressed through that, and went out and I got 3 DUIs in 2 weeks. The third of which my 4-year-old son was in the car with me, and we lived in a golf course community, and I ran into the fence of the golf course. Pretty horrible stuff. Got sober for a little while after that, and then went back to drinking again. And my mom got sick. I could give you all the excuses in the world, but they're only excuses. My mom got sick, and both my dad and I had had the same 8 years sober, along with my husband. And my mom got sick and died. My dad died a year and a half later to this disease. I watched it just devour him. And my husband died from this disease about a year and a half after that. And then my daughter had moved to go to college, and my son was still at home with me. But he left to go to college in July of this year, and I was drinking through all those deaths and life very unmanageable, very dark place. Talk about gift of desperation. I was either going to die or which I choose to call my higher power, came in to tell me, Erin, you got to get yourself in treatment. So after I drove with my son out to Kansas to get him into college, and the whole way there, I had um, a couple of half-gallons of vodka in my bag because we drove his car out, and then I flew back to Oregon home so I could get him settled in school. And I drove with him the whole way out there drinking. Well, he drove. And when I got back, I thought, okay, I'm not a daughter anymore. I'm not a wife anymore. I'm not a mother anymore. And I didn't know who I was. So I just drank 24/7, drank to pass out, and would continue drinking, drank myself into oblivion, and then checked myself into inpatient treatment September 2nd. And so I have 80 or 98 days today. But that's basically it in a nutshell. I mean, there's more details, but I'm trying to consolidate time. So
All right. Hey, listen, thank you. Excellent job. Let's go over to Jeff. Jeff, I hate to put you on the spot, but
No,
could you
that's
tell your story in 5 minutes? Now
uh,
I'll run a
I can,
timer on you. How about that?
I, Jeff Alcoholic. I could probably tell it to you if you give me less time. I could do it. I was at the dentist
No,
today,
we
and
want you to do it in 5 minutes. Go ahead. Where
okay,
you're from,
I'm slurring
what
a
it
little
was
bit.
like, what happened, and what it's like now. Tell us the
Okay,
long version because we like hearing from you. All
okay,
right. Yeah, good job.
of all days. Okay, my name is Jeff. I'm an alcoholic. I'm blessed with 39 years of sobriety, continuous sobriety through the steps and the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. Um, I gave myself over to alcohol in my 17th year. I had flirted with it before that, because we're getting to a point in life where we drank at parties and stuff like that. But I said, this is for me. And when I was getting closer to graduating, 12th grade, I just, all bets were off. I mean, that spring vacation. And then they came, then to make a long story short, then as soon as the summer hit, I was off and running. And I just wanted to stay drunk all the time. Although I worked, I was functional, I was young, I was in good shape. And, it went from there to I was headed for New York City, where it was great. I could drink, I was legal there, and I could drink all around and make a fool of myself here and there, and move on to another bar 10 blocks away. No one knew the difference, and I got picked up from college too, part time, and then I joined the army about a year and change later, a year and a half, whatever. And that's, you drink there too when you can. But all of us, the alcohol was always with me. It was always it controlled everybody that I associated with, the people I gravitated to, what I did, what would allow me to drink and get away with it. As far as hours on a job, that was just it. Um, I just drank. I always thought I'd outgrow it. I went on from there, and I had success. A bunch of things I can't fill in now. I don't have the capacity, but I drank everywhere I could. I never outgrew it like I thought I would. I only just changed my way of drinking. And I was a functional drunk, but I was a chameleon. Looking back on it, I always picked up jobs where I could make some money and drink uh, off for hours. It was just everything. I was controlled by alcohol. I made a lot of mistakes. I put people out of my life that didn't drink. There's the only people that really I cared about. Relationships, the same thing. Um, what can I tell you? You get to where I was 40 when I came in the rooms. I guess 40, 42. I can't remember what. And when I came in, um, luckily, I hadn't hit the skids, but I was probably at the top, almost reaching the top of that cusp where I would have. Any day I could really, looking back on it, I realized how I could have hit the skids, or why I didn't kill myself in all those years, why I didn't kill other people on the roads. Kill myself as far as accidents, situations I was in. I came in the rooms, and at first I said, "Well, okay, I'm a guy who drinks too much, too long, too often. I've left the bottle at the door." Pretty soon I said, well, okay, I'm an alcoholic. I can admit to that. Still had a problem with feeling that I was insane. So step number one, I said I took, but I didn't, because 6 months later I went out for one day, and then I came back in for a couple of months. Then I went back in for another, out for another. Bottom line is I was still lying to myself, still arrogant, feeling I was in control. And anybody out there, please, we are not, God is in control. We are not. This program teaches us how not to drink. Um, why did I take my last drink? Because I started drinking. I drank all day, all night, stuff. Nothing really happened. But I said, this is what I will be. This is my life. Oh my God, how could I have stepped out of AA, hit it running the next morning? And I've been sober ever since. I got down, not the eye. I said, God, take this from me. I can't deal with this. I'm killing myself. This is terrible. This is what I'll always be. I gave it over, and I walked in the rooms of A, and I've been sober since. Let's work the steps. The steps have it. The steps keep us from going out if we're sincere. If you don't lie to yourself like I did and say you're powerless, and when you secretly think you're not, get rid of that. Do what the step says. Be restored to sanity. Make a decision. Turn your life over to God. Everything that, and do all the amends and the inventories. Do all that stuff. It works. It works. The steps work. Make a lot of meetings too, but you always have the steps to know what's absolutely correct and chiseled in stone, and that how you can give what you can get out of that away to the others, because we have to give it away to keep it. Always be working with the newcomers, but we got to know what we're doing first. That's why I'm here. I mean, I'm learning plenty, and by being here the last 3 months or 4 months, however long I've been here, and I'm going to learn more, and I'll be able to give away more correctly, the steps. So there's much more I can
Perfect.
say. Thank you. Thank you.
Good job, Jeff.
Thank
Yay.
you.
Let's applaud for Aaron. Yay. And we'll applaud for Eric. Yay. Right. Uh, so now I want to ask, so this is kind of a fun meeting today. I want to ask, I'll ask Lisa. Lisa, could you explain to everybody how this meeting works, how this workshop works, and what what you get out of it, and what people get out of it?
Oh, okay. What I get out of it? Actually,
Introduce
it,
yourself.
sorry. Hi, I'm Lisa from Cleveland, alcoholic, sober 122 days. Um, I think we went over, what this meeting is. It's really a step workshop. and it leads you through the 12 steps of AA. And really, what I take from that is that it walks you through steps that make you realize you have some kind of accountability to some relationships or your relationship with alcohol, I guess, and what it has done to you. If that makes any sense at all. I said it out loud and it didn't make sense, so I apologize. But what these steps have come to teach me is not only my relationship with alcohol, I can take these steps and use them in my everyday life and take accountability for how I'm treating other people, how to react to other people, how to react to situations that are adverse or that maybe aren't, the best situations for me. It's taught me a lot about myself, and it's taught me a lot about how to react a little bit differently to life situations, whether it's alcohol, whether it's people that are not supposed to be in my life, whether it's a situation that I just don't not prepared to handle. It just tries to help me handle things a little bit differently or see things with open eyes and take accountability for things if they're not going right because of me. So it just makes me take a look at myself and reassess situations, I guess, and try to address them a little bit differently and more positively.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So there you go. Look at Emily. She's clapping like crazy. So now,
And if you
Emily,
heard the bells behind me, there's my puppy going crazy with the door.
is that right? I have chimes outside. The wind just started here, but there. Anyways, so let me call. Let's see here. I want to just call on Emily. I'm going to call on you. Tell everybody what you get out of this workshop.
Emily, addict. I get so much out of this. I'm still learning something new every day, and the repetitiveness, it's like starting to really sink in. I love hearing everything over and over and over because I was very slow to accept this. And so I just need it drilled into my brain. And I had fallen out of routine and was just kind of living from one chaotic event to the other in life. And this is getting me back into the routine of just living a simple life, keeping my side of the street clean and learning day by day.
Okay, so let's see. I'm looking for one more person here. Oh, here we go. I'll call it Rebecca. Could you explain to everybody how this workshop works? Talk as though these are all new people here. You've never seen them before in your life, and you want to explain to them how, like, basically be me. Explain the whole workshop to everybody. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, I can explain it in regards to me. Because we all have our own story, but we're all alcoholics and addicts.
Introduce yourself too.
I'm sorry, I'm Rebecca, alcoholic addict. So when, I had been in rehab many, many years ago, 23 years ago, for cocaine and freebasing. And, the 12 steps for me were daunting. It was like the 10 commandments, and I just didn't get it. I wasn't ready to get it. I didn't get it. Fast forward, coming to this meeting, again, the steps were like daunting. I would see a meeting and they would say step meeting. I'd be like, oh, no, I can't. I have no idea what's going on. This meeting really simplified it for me. With the help of all you, Jann, and making it structured, like you do. I always thought the rules didn't apply to me, and that's what everyone would tell me. The rules never apply to you. Well, I keep it simple. I come to the meeting, I don't drink, and I do the steps, and it's as simple as that. So this meeting really is not about, yeah, we all have problems in our lives, girlfriends, boyfriends, pets, wives, whatever, jobs.
It's not the girlfriend meeting.
Exactly. Thank you, Jann. So this is like having a sponsor. This is the
Exactly.
guts and the meat and potatoes of the program. And I thank you all for that. It's really given me incredible awareness and sobriety and spirituality. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So here it comes.
Thanks.
Newcomers Slippers Step Workshop is it's a class, right? So everybody remember this. Let's see. It's a class. It's AA 101. You are in AA University. This is the only meeting like it in the world. There is no other AA workshop like this. And what we do here is we teach you, hand deliver to you basic AA program in the same way that they did in the 1930s when AA was formed. The year Prohibition ended and Alcoholics Anonymous began because America got back to drinking in a serious way, and then the whole damn country crashed. And the first 100 members of AA came up with this 12-step process. And Alcoholics Anonymous it is a 12-step process, and we try to explain it as though it's a process rather than it's something burdensome. It's like what you were saying there, Rebecca. I'll never be able to fucking do this, or I don't want to, or this is too frightening, or the hell with you, I'm not doing that. This is more of it's more of a 12-step process that teaches you, here it comes, how to live your life without drinking. It teaches you how to live your life without drinking. It teaches you how to, it retrains your brain. It retrains your brain so that every time you turn around, you don't go and say, oh crap, I need a drink. That comes to an end if you do the whole 12-step process. Okay. The first 100 members of Alcoholics Anonymous had 80% to 100% success rate. Why? Because they all worked this 12-step process like a group, just like we're doing here. That's all they ever talked about in their meetings. They talked about the 12-step process. What do I have to do next? Which is what everybody does in here. Now, if you go to AA meetings today, generally speaking, unless you go to a good group like Eric, generally speaking, they're going to talk about their cats. What? You ever go to an AA meeting and it's like the first person raises their hand and they go, I don't know, my cat, blah, blah, and the other cat's fighting, and they all fight with each other. And then and the meeting is like this. Well, that's not what AA is like or what it's supposed to be. Alcoholics Anonymous is a 12-step process how to live your life without drinking. Although we do devote Fridays to cats. If you have a cat, bring your cat on Friday. This one is dead. I had him stuffed so that he doesn't like wander all over the keyboards. And we have Thursday in 2 days is Dog Thursday because people go to meetings, they talk about their dogs. They miss the entire damn program altogether. And that's what happened to me. I had 11 years sober. My life was unwinding. I had a sponsor that said, why don't you come to my house on Friday night and we'll see if we can help you out. Maybe you'll feel better. And they took me through the entire 12-step process in about a month and a half. And lo and behold, my whole life changed. I had no idea that this is what Alcoholics Anonymous is. It's this process that resolves all of life's issues. And that's kind of what we do in here. We haven't really done it today. We've been talking about, people have been telling their stories, which are also important. We don't do that too much in here because then we get to see of, holy crap, this is what happens when I pick up a drink. Everything goes to hell. We have alcoholics, they say, have good forgetters. We forget how bad it was and we decide, I'll have a drink, I'll be fine. And oh no, it always ends up really bad. So anyways, that's what we do here. And let me just look at this for a second. I know. Okay. Okay, so Now we have 3 people working on their 4 steps right now, right? Who is that? That's Joe, Lori, and is it? Jason, are you working on your 4? Okay, Ron. Um, Jason, you're working on your 4 step. Ron, you are. Lori, and Joe, you're working on yours too, right? So
Yes.
if you guys could unmute, turn your cameras on. It would help if you raised your hands, and you'll all line up across the top of the screen. I got to get those cats out of there. They're like, they are seriously messed up. Excuse me for a second. Let's put something up. All right. So, okay, let's go to Joe. So, Joe, how's your 4th step coming? So you've done the 5 columns, the who, let me see. I'm who I'm resentful at, the cause, what it affects me.
Yeah. Yes.
And let me finish.
Mhm.
And what it affects in me, my part and fear. So have you done the my part and the fear part too?
Yes.
All right. So how many incidents have you written?
7.
7. Okay. And then you want to give us an example of one?
Um, sure. My first husband. Um, that the cause is that before him, I really didn't drink daily. It wasn't part of a habit. And I'm sorry, I don't know what just went on with my voice.
What's the resentment?
The resentment, and it's really not fair, but I'll put the word blame. That I don't know. I guess it's really that I blame him for.
What did you write down?
I wrote down that it started daily drinking, or I don't even know that we drank daily then, but everything seemed to him that it was activities based on alcohol, or
Okay,
we stayed
so
home.
your resentment is against your first husband.
Mhm.
Then the cause is you started daily drinking with him. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, this doesn't have to be rational. It just needs to be
Okay.
done. Then the third thing is, what did it affect in you from the big book?
Um.
Oh, do you have
Oh.
do you have your book there?
Yes.
Open it up.
Okay. I think I didn't write this part down, so maybe I should revisit this for tomorrow. What page? I'm sorry.
Well, I'm going to let you find it in the book. It's
Okay.
it's page 64.
Yeah, something to
60, listen to
63.
me. Listen to me. Page 64 and 65. So
Mhm.
you're going to put down in there um, what it affects in me, and it gives a list of things that it affects.
Okay.
And then you're going to put those down. Then you're going to go to your fear inventory. What were my fears in connection with this resentment against my first husband?
Okay.
Then you're going to put down um, your part. What was your part in this? It's all on pages
Mhm.
65, 66, 67. Now, I gave you an assignment to listen to some of the 4th step podcasts on YouTube. Did you listen to any of them?
I have not. Oh, I have not. I was
Okay,
working on.
so listen, wait. So I want you to go and do that. All right, that's your assignment tomorrow. Read these pages,
Mhm.
64. Listen, don't talk. 64, 65, 66, 67, and then listen to the podcasts. Okay, just do it. Okay, good. Jason, how about you? Where you at?
Okay.
Actually, hang on for 1 second. I have a question here. I'm going to go back to Joe. Hey Joe, would you like to go into a breakout room and maybe talk to a woman a little bit about what's going on? Would that be helpful? I could put you in there. I could put you in there with Erin. She's really good. And like take 5 minutes and just talk with her. Here, we're gonna assign you manually. Um, create, there it is, breakout room. And then Erin, you can move you and Joe into a breakout room. Do you see how to do it? Who knows how to do that? Anybody? Do you see how to do it, Erin?
I'm trying to click on Joe's name, assign
Okay.
to room
Yeah.
1 with me, right?
Yes.
Okay, but how do I move myself over? It'll automatically move me over?
Hell, I don't know. We could move you over. Let's see.
Because my name's not on there, but I signed her to move over. She's moved over, but I don't know how to sign myself because my name's not on here.
Oh, hang on for
She's-
1 second.
Did you assign her to room 1?
Yes.
I think I can assign you to room 1.
Okay, that'd be great.
Do it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye, guys.
Yep.
Bye.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Good job. All right. Okay, Ron. I'm sorry. I was talking with. Where the hell'd you go?
Where?
Okay, Jason, go ahead. So, how's it going?
Good. So yeah, I did all 5 columns. I have 8. And I started with my wife. So I guess the resentment for column 2, or resentment, my wife, the cause would be I feel like she pays way more attention to everyone else but me, and I feel neglected. So the effect in me would be self-esteem, security, and personal relations. And then I have for my part, I was distant and dismissive to her. I was always drunk. I wasn't there. And the fears are that I'm not good enough. I'll end up alone and abandoned, and that she doesn't love me anymore.
Perfect. Um, I have another question for you, Lisa.
Okay.
Could you put Jason in that breakout room too, and explain to Joe how you did that?
Okay.
I just don't know how
You
to
guys can
get
be in
him
there for like
back.
5. What's that?
I don't know how to get him back, but hold on. Let me see how I
Get who
did.
back? You don't need to get him back. You just need to put him in there.
Okay, let me figure out what I just did. Give me 1 second.
Go right ahead, and we'll see if Jason gets there. All right, Ron, you're up. What's up? He's
I'm Ron, I'm an alcoholic. Yeah, I had like 25 different resentments, and like 16 of people that I've hurt. And I was having finished yesterday when we were reading step 4. It was evident that I probably needed to do my sexual stuff as well. And yes, I did the 5 columns. Would you like?
You want to give us a part of that? Yeah, just read one.
Okay, well, the very first one was that I was resentful towards myself for continuing to drink because I knew I was a train wreck waiting to happen anyways. It affected my self-esteem, my financial security, and my ambitions. And my part was that was the decision I made. I drove past the clubhouse every day going to work. There were 2 meetings a day that I could have stopped in and swallowed my pride and went on in after I had slept. And the main fear that I had is that I may slip again.
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. Now you can do a sex inventory separately, and then we can talk about that separately too. Those are always good. All right, so how's it coming? Good?
Well, yeah, I mean, I can see why you said take care of yourself because it is, I didn't feel uneasy or like I was going to take a drink over it because the pain is still reeling. But no, it's pretty evident to how twisted my thinking truly is.
It can be. It can resolve itself too. I think we've all had that. You know, a lot of us have a tendency to minimize what happened. But you know, and a lot of times, of course, Bill Wilson went right to it. But you know, who was I talking to earlier? Oh, I was talking to someone who traveled on the road. And then they talked about the madness of actually here, Joe, you're here. You want to talk about that, Joe? We were talking about that earlier, about all the bullshit that goes on when you're working for a company and you're out there traveling. Not so much with you, but people that you saw come in, you had to deal with it.
Yes, hello, my name's Joe and I'm an alcoholic. You were cutting in and out there for a second, Jan.
Oh, I was going to ask you, um, Ron was talking about the crazy stuff we do when we're drinking. And I was saying that you and I were talking about that earlier because you were talking about when you were on the road with the company, you brought in all these people who just went crazy and you had to like deal with it.
Yeah, and I was no exception to the rule. I participated in those reckless behaviors and activities and things like that. Alcohol is a monster and affects a lot of people. And when you add alcohol to somebody who's got less accountability than they normally do, or they should have, then they tend to go a little nuts with it and be more reckless and make poorer decisions than just regular drinking decisions. So it's like alcohol plays a big part in poor behavior.
Practically get involved in crime. I mean, you know, it's like drunk driving, going to clubs, you know, it's a good thing a lot of clubs have a lot of tolerance. I live in Boulder, and I'm telling you, I had the police chief tell me one day, he said, Jan, what goes on in these clubs and these bars stays in the bar. He said, we don't really give a shit. As long as they're not fighting with each other, knifing each other, and all of that, said, I don't care. He said, when it pours out into the street, then we care. And I was like, Jesus, because I would go for my job working as a reporter. I'd be watching people just selling cocaine right across like nobody cared. They weren't hiding it. They were doing it, you know, and
Yeah.
everything else that you can possibly think of in drunken madness. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is like Sodom and Gomorrah here.
Yeah. You're not far off.
All right, so there we go. So let's talk to Lori. Lori, I know that you behaved very well when you were drinking. I'm sure your fourth step looks like the Boulder Garden Club. Probably not. Ron's cracking up. No, we had a still in the back of the house, Jan. I'm like, go ahead.
All right, I wrote down my life with alcoholism as the resentment I'm going to read.
Okay.
And I guess number one, for being stupid enough to drink in the first place and not realize early on how serious this was going to be. And then second, for not staying in the program because.
Well, here we go. We want to have your resentment, your first resentment. Who was it against? What was the cause? Um, what what did affect, and what was your part? What were your fears as it's laid out on page 65 in the big book? So what's your first resentment?
Well, that's what I was thinking. My life right now with alcoholism, but
No, I want a person, a place, or
okay,
I want an institution like the cable company, the bank.
okay. I have another one.
All right.
Okay. I've got one on my son-in-law.
Okay, good. What's the
And
cause?
the cause is his behavior. He's belittling, irresponsible, just
Okay, good. And what does that affect in you?
Fear and relationship issues. And my part is I don't always realize how I sound when I talk, so I'm sure I've said things I shouldn't say to him.
Perfect.
And I'm
You-
sure fear that I don't like him.
Okay, and do you have any other specifics about him? Like, are there any other instances? So you can list down the middle in the cause, like the time that he kicked the dog, the time he took my car when he wasn't supposed to, the time he robbed the bank, the
Yeah.
time he took the cat to the vet and asked it to be euthanized.
Okay, I can do that.
I thought that was, oh, there you go. Yeah, let's have them. All of them about him, and then what it affected in you, and your part. Hey, Eric, what do you think about this fourth step? You have any input on? These guys are doing their first fourth step. Over to you. You have to unmute though. Are you there? Can you do it? There he is. Sorry.
My internet's acting up, so
Oh, go ahead. We can hear you now. Fine.
it's good. Fine. I couldn't hear what you'd said.
Oh, I was asking you your experience with the fourth step.
Experience with the fourth step was that Eric alcoholic that basically my whole life I blamed on everyone else, and by going through the fourth step and actually being honest with it, I learned that everything that happened in my life I played a major part in, set the ball rolling in some way, shape, or form. And what that did is it actually kind of set me free to understand that, you know, because I was the main person, causing these issues, that I could also be the person that doesn't start them in the first place.
There you go. Perfect. So there you go. That's from Eric. Never been to this meeting before, but here he is,
Everyday
member of
life.
Alcoholics Anonymous, and he's worked the process. This is what so everybody kind of does it the same. All right. Hey, Aaron, how did it go in that breakout room? Did you get some clarity on the fourth step
Great.
in there?
Yeah, great. Yep.
Clarity on the fourth step. Okay. Did you hear
Yep.
from Jason? Did Jason explain how he did it?
Yes, Jason he said yeah, he's got it, and he just he's going to elaborate a little bit more, but yeah, he was confused as to whether he was supposed to read him to me or not, and I said I'd be glad to help you, but I thought that
I
you
just
would.
wanted him to explain, here's the
Yes.
process. This is
Yes.
how we do it.
Yep.
So that Joe can get it and
Right.
start doing the fourth step the way we do it. All right, who wants to read the promises? You want to read the promises there, Jeff? Do you have them in front of you?
Yes, yes, I do. Page 83.
Yeah.
Hold on. If we are painstaking, here we go. Okay. Jeff, alcoholic, South Beach. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past, nor will we wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we cannot do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly and sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them. Thank you for letting me read.
Perfect. The serenity prayer goes like this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So this meeting is officially over. If any of you who are new here have any questions about the meeting or about AA, you can unmute and ask away. So yeah. So some of you have my number. You can call me too if you need to, or text. See how life is going in general. I think